friends of Prairie Vintage. My name is Linda. I'm an energy intuitive reader here on YouTube. I use spirits, my intuition, the tarot to communicate energies to you guys, most amazing viewers. If you're new to this channel, welcome. I'm so thrilled that you finally found me. And for those of you guys returning, I'm so blessed, so grateful to do your reading yet again today. Today's reading will be a pick a card reading. We'll pick 4 of these cards shortly for the piles to choose from. Okay, if you're new to pick a card readings, then you will use your own intuition. Whichever card feels intuitively right for you will most likely have your message of your energy around you, but the messaging will be coming from your higher self to deliver what it is you're needing to hear right here, right now. Now, if the messages don't resonate, you can go check out another pile. It's absolutely fine to leave one, to go check out another one. You're not obligated to sit there, and tarot certainly isn't forcing or predicting the future for you. Okay, it's just reflecting back to your state of consciousness, something you most likely already intuitively know in your subconscious. It shouldn't be this brand new revelation that is not connected to you energetically and you're hearing for the first time. Okay, if that's the case, it's most likely not your pile. All right, so best way to connect is to develop your intuition. You can ask spirit for something you'll see, feel, or hear to determine whether the pile is right for you. All right, so before we get into the 4 options, let's take a look at the decks we'll be using. So this lovely deck you see in front of you is the Divine Feather Messenger, Traditional Rider Waite Smith Tarot, my very first deck ever. Frantic Pinter's Tarot, Lucid Minds Tarot, Vice Versa Tarot, and we will be using the Spirit Animal Oracle for further guidance. So let me move these. Let us pick your 4 options. If you are called to multiple cards, piles, it's absolutely fine. Okay, this could be multiple aspects, multiple messages coming through from your higher self. Listen to that intuition. Option 1, I'll hold these up shortly for you guys. For option 2, Spirit, beautiful feathers. Option 2's feather message. We have the peacock and this black feather, which does look like a crow feather to me. This looks like a pheasant feather. We have the birds on the back side of these cards, which we'll check out. For the 4th option, that white feather. All right, so wow, 4 very unique, very different feathers. Let me make sure that we're not in any sort of lighting where you guys can't see your feathers. Okay. Wow. Let me hold them up so you guys can see. So for option 1, you see that? Option number 2. Maybe right here. Sorry, the lighting is very bright. Option number 3. Option number 4. This one will be difficult to see. It's almost invisible. Can you guys see that? About as good as we can get it. Okay, interesting. So sit with the energy of these 4 piles. When you're ready, I will put the timestamp in the description box in the pinned comment below. It'll take you directly to your pick and your message, and I will see you there. Hello, gorgeous angels. Pile number 1, you guys picked this feather right here. We'll take a look at which bird this feather belongs to, kind of near the end of the reading. All right, can you guys see that? So let's put your feather right over here. We'll pull 3 tarot cards, okay, and then we'll get some guidance from the animal oracle near the end. So, Spirit, what is it that Pile 1's higher self is wanting to communicate? It's an immediate message right here, right now. What is this message that Pile 1's higher self is wanting to communicate to Pile 1 at this time? Please protect me and the viewer as I channel this message for the greatest and highest good of Pile number 1. Thank you so much, Pile 1, for allowing me to tap into your energy, the energy around you at this time. So blessed to be here doing your reading. What does Pile 1's higher self want to communicate to Pile 1 at this time? Interesting. I was going to do only 3 cards, but it came out like this. All right, let's take a look. We have 2 swords. We have Temperance. And we have 5 cups in reverse. I'll hold them up so you guys can see, although my lighting, like I said, isn't the greatest. Temperance, 5 cups in reverse. And the Devil and the Ace of Pentacles in reverse. So we have Sagittarius, Capricorn energy in this pile. Doesn't have to be your sun, moon, or rising. Could be prominent in your birth chart, although it could be the seasons, or the seasons are certain timelines or specific to whatever this message might be, okay? Or it could just be the energy of the overall reading that we're connecting to. Okay, so let me sit here with this energy and this messaging and deliver what it is your high self is wanting you to know. Okay. Pile 1. There is a need to I was going to say make a decision, but it's not necessarily a need so much as there is a decision potentially that you could take action on that I feel is being impacted by a past experience that you had. So your understanding of something because of what you've experienced, which for most of you guys, I feel is probably something that left you feeling, I don't know, devastated was one word that came through. Could be heartbroken, could be devastated, could be just looking back and regretting your experience. It could be something that just fell through or didn't work the first time around or the last time. Whatever you experienced, I don't feel was great. And so I feel like this is getting in the way of you engaging in taking action on something that I feel is presenting itself to you. It's already presented itself to you. I feel as though what your high self is saying is that you are healed enough, that you have done healing regarding whatever your experience has been, and that the only thing holding you back and hindrance is most likely an automatic mind story that has nothing to really do with the healing part. So let me see if I can word this better. Your higher self is saying whatever you experienced might have left you feeling like you needed to recuperate and overcome, you know, emotional loss, whatever this was, didn't leave you feeling great. And so I feel like you have done a lot of healing. You have done a lot of work here regarding whatever this is. And your spirits team is saying that you are regulated enough to proceed but there is still some connection, attachment to that experience that is interjecting in your own mind story. And it could be a repeat thing you tell yourself, and you're not even aware that that's, just coming from your own mind story that is preventing you from moving forward and manifesting something here. Oh my goodness. I need to cover these up. How long has this been out in the open? Reevaluate. In the starlit sky, we still look for the falling stars. So reevaluate, exactly. Perfect. So what is this telling me? Your high self says you either wrote something off or keep writing something off as it's not time, or you can't, or it's only going to lead to the same thing. There's something here that you're connecting back to past experience that is preventing a manifestation of something that could be wonderful, whatever this is. I feel like you probably already know, because I feel intuitively this manifestation is calling. I think it has presented itself to you, and some of you guys might have flat out rejected it, or just not pursuing it, or not moving in that direction, or just write it off automatically. So we're bound to the experience of the past that left us feeling not good. And so we remember those memories, and we make decisions based on a memory, which is an attachment to a story and an experience, rather than the reality of the situation. Because I think what your high self is saying, this opportunity is something that you're absolutely able to have success with, and that you are healed enough to move forward, and that you will be divinely guided, and that identifying the chain that holds you back and limits you is what you need to see and work on in order for you to discover why it is you're really held back. It has nothing to do with an actual reality, because this might be, like, I know we don't see any fear cards here, but it's almost like the experience created some unfound understanding. And so now, therefore, I fear that that might happen again, or it's created you probably carrying a belief that that part of why that didn't work is who you are, or why it didn't work out. So, for example, let's say we had an unsuccessful relationship. We could carry the burden of all of the stories and reasons why I wasn't engaged the way I could. Looking back, I could have did this better. I could have said that better. I could have been more present. I could have not done that. I could have. And so then we carry an understanding belief that we are deficient, or that we have deficiencies as a person when it comes to connection, relationship. And then we're presented with an opportunity, and we just say, I'm not that person, or I have this way of being about me. But that's a story that we're telling ourselves that we are that way, or we have that being. Meanwhile, Spirit's saying you're regulated, you're none of those things. The reason that situation did not work was because it was being divinely guided in the way that it was. And so maybe we were divinely protected from it manifesting further. And so the story we tell ourselves we believe to be true, but really it's just a devil illusion holding us back from actually trying this new opportunity. Fill in the blank. If it's a job, then we can, say, I tried, I don't know, being a realtor. We had one experience, and I don't know, we wrote a test and I didn't know, or I showed a house, and the people just, I don't know, it turned not good. So I'm not a good realtor, or I'm not made to show homes. Meanwhile, it might have been just that one experience with that couple, or that family, or that day, or that test, or that instructor, has nothing to do with you being capable of being the realtor or not. And so I feel like emotionally you took a blow, and you might have taken it personally. And now we carry an identity to the reason we cannot, or why we would think we'd fail. But I do feel there's a block here in regards to an opportunity that the universe wants you to reevaluate your position and question the thoughts you're telling yourself, because there's some story that you're just automatically attaching to that is not true necessarily, or you just believe it and therefore it keeps you inactive. And once we detach from that story, we've actually healed the part of self that might be connecting to that. Okay, now I know I don't see an 8 swords, but I feel like it's giving me 8 swords type vibe. But the reason it's not really an 8 swords is because I feel like it's something you're really overlooking, like very close to you in regards to what you're telling yourself. And I feel like once you see it, it's like, I don't think it's going to involve like an undoing of a belief. I think it's just going to be you detach from that story and then you can make a decision. So, yeah, interesting. We will reveal this, but let's pull the animal oracle and see what comes through. So for pile number 1, what does pile 1's high self want to communicate then in regards to this messaging? Thank you, Spirit. For pile 1, what does their high self want to communicate to pile 1? Starfish Spirit, open to infinite possibility, 59. Yeah, so we're already rating something off. And Spirit wants you to know, like the star is all about a vision of something we really want to attain. It's like our North Star. Okay, star is also about healing. A star could also be about destiny. And we were seeing a lot of divine guidance. There's some dream, some vision of something that could really impact your future. Okay, like, and I do feel it is something that you would want to partake in, move towards. And so your high self is saying that there is unlimited possibility here for you. The only reason why we haven't moved or had any success in this is because of the mind story that's replaying in your mind about something that is already over, has been over, and most likely you've already mourned, because I don't feel you're emotionally attached to that thing anymore. I feel like you had an experience, you know, and it was a valid experience, but that experience is now behind you in the past. It has no dictating, no involvement in this future or present decision. Spider spirits, make your dreams real. 56, exactly. So we said the star is your vision of what you want. This is your wishes coming true. Spider is about making it a reality. You have the power to create this, but you have to detach from anything that tells you can't make it real. Okay, we have number 11 here. So 11 is sign, symbol, synchronicities, and the encouragement to keep going. So we might have got very discouraged about something, or we might have tried once and it didn't work for that reason. But I think the timing might have been off, or the circumstance just wasn't aligned at that time. It had nothing to do with the deficiency of you, or whatever story you're telling yourself. And maybe, like I said, you already innately know this, but you're just putting up this block and you don't need to. So let's keep going. One more here for pile number 1's high self's message. What is it that once I see Aquarius, Scorpio, and like we said, Capricorn and Sagittarius. And we have Ant Spirits, time to collaborate. So for some of you guys, like I'm not seeing anything here that is a relationship, okay? But it's a great example here, because let's just say we had to work with another, whatever, relationship. We're in a relationship with everything and everyone that we're in connection to. And we could have had a really not good experience, But there's so many reasons and situations and events that surrounded that happening that created the outcome that it did. That whatever it is that you're hanging on to or understanding, doesn't need to be carried, doesn't need to be there anymore. Because right now, in this present moment, none of that stuff is impacting this situation. And so it is time to be open, because I feel this is a card of manifestation and working with others to create. It's like a 3 pentacle type energy. So we have to be open to collaborate, to work with others, to spirit. It could be in conjunction with spirit to create this thing. So whenever we're on the fence about something or not moving about it, this is what your high self is wanting you really, really to play devil's advocate and question or reevaluate. Okay, so I feel there is something that you've already healed or already mourned or already processed. So I don't feel this is going to be something that takes a lot of undoing, just seeing, understanding and seeing self. So let's reveal this card. This beautiful feather. Owl. Oh, great. Owl's all about knowing. It says your intuition is correct. Follow your inner wisdom without fail. So for a lot of you guys, you already know what this is. Some of you guys, I do feel like I mentioned, this dream or this vision, you've been seeing sign, symbol, synchronicities being pulled to this thing. And for whatever reason, just have not yet pulled the trigger. And maybe you're trying to make sense of it, balance it out, or come to an understanding. And your high self says you don't need to rectify, balance, or anything. You just need to detach from that story. Like, just cut it off. Like, there is no revelation that's going to come that's going to make that, even if you did understand the ins and the outs about it, it doesn't matter, because it's not impacting this. This is a whole new situation, a whole new manifestation, a whole new thing that you can create here. And the only reason this would be blocked for manifestation is if we're still attached to the reason we could not, or a past situation that didn't develop, which again is not this. It's that, and that's over. It's done, dusted, buried. Okay, so the intuition is calling you towards your North Star, towards your creative pursuit, towards a manifestation, potentially working with another. I feel there is a strong passion here with the devil, like a burning desire potentially to what this is. So I do feel like if you are tapped into this pile, you most likely know exactly what this is about. So pile 1, this is your reading. I hope this helped you. I'll see you at the next one. Bye-bye. Hello, gorgeous angels. Pile number 2, you guys picked the peacock feather. I don't know if you guys can see that. Absolutely love peacocks. My favorite. Let's take a look at a message from your high self. What is it right here, right now, that you're needing to know, that your high self is wanting to communicate to you? Okay, immediate message from your higher self, and we'll reveal what's on the back side of this shortly near the end of this reading. But let's pull your tarot spirit for beautiful pile number 2. What is it that their high self is wanting to communicate to them right here, right now, in regards to this immediate message they're needing to hear? 2 swords. Interesting. That came out first for pile 1 as well. Different deck. Let's do that again. Pile number 2. High self, what is it that pile 2 is needing to hear right here, right now? Please protect me and the viewer as I channel this message for the greatest and highest good of pile 2. Thank you, spirits. And thank you, pile 2, for allowing me to tap into your energy, the energy around you at this time. So blessed to be here doing your reading. All right. So we have 2 swords with this abandoned shipwreck. We have Judgment in reverse. I feel like I'm about to sneeze. We have 7 swords. My goodness. And we have Queen of Cups. Okay, so we have Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. Let me tap into this energy. Okay, some of you guys might have been pulled to pile 1, but slight differences. I feel like what your high self is saying, apply this into context. I think you're looking in the wrong direction. Because I do feel like you're in a situation potentially where you feel maybe helpless. Some of you guys might feel like you need more help. Maybe you feel stranded. Maybe you feel abandoned. Maybe you feel like you have less resources than you actually have. But for whatever reason, there is this feeling almost of like, I'm in a situation that's not ideal here. And I think you want to move. Okay. Like either you want to, I mean, of course you want to have success, but I feel you want some form of movement. And I feel like your high self is saying you're looking in the wrong direction. Now, I want to see, why is your high self saying you're looking in the wrong direction? Something to do with self. So I think you're in a situation or circumstance that would be better off being present with the people, the circumstance, and everything, rather than maybe go inwards and rely on self. Because I feel like there's a self understanding you might have, and you might be tossing and turning this thing inwardly. What can I do? How did I? Like, it's very inward. And so we're internalizing, trying to find a solution. Meanwhile, this solution, I feel, is one that would require you to look the other way. Like, communicate openly with the people involved or the person involved or the situation and be present. And maybe, like with this Queen of Cups, we could certainly be very emotionally invested in how this might transpire, that we are protecting our own emotions by, I feel what you're doing here is something that's not working, and we've done it or have been doing it or are stuck in this energy for some time. And so your high self is saying it's not working for a reason. There's no more internal turning something over. You're going to get the same types of answers, or we're not going to get anywhere. And the reason being is because this isn't something that requires you to figure out the answer from inside, but there is something coming through about it could be a protective mechanism because we are emotionally invested. And so we really don't want to hear the answer that comes, So it could be the answer that comes might make me uncomfortable, whatever it may be. It might be an answer that could help things move. It could be an answer that solidifies what I already know, but I don't want to make it official, but we don't know this. Like I feel there is a burning desire to get an answer from you, but really the subconscious is doing this to protect you from actually getting the answer, seeing the answer, and when I see the answer, it's like the solution to movements, the solution to get yourself out. There is an answer. I think you just don't want to hear it. And so you keep looking in the one area within yourself, waiting for something to be different, but the answer is not going to be different. The answer is going to be you still feeling frustrated. Because I feel there's a level of, and if it's not frustrated, it's like abandoned or like helpless or like hopeless, or like this situation is not on your side and you're in it on your own, and you got to figure out the answer, and you got to be like, but it's like, no. In fact, like if your situation involves other people, it's like this kind of an energy is what is is creating this energy you don't want to be in, because we're unintentionally maybe shutting out that situation or other people. And then the question we're looking at is, why am I shut out? But we're the ones it's like a catch-22. We shut out people, we experience being shut out. And we open up, we trust people, then we are let in. So I feel like whatever you're experiencing here, you don't like. But I think your high self is saying it's your own sort of doing, because you're not really seeing or wanting to see or looking in the right direction, which is outwardly your current situation or circumstance, to accept the truths of what's there, because emotionally we're protecting ourselves, or we're emotionally very invested in something here. And so it doesn't necessarily mean that the answer is going to be bad or something you don't want to hear, but we're prolonging or delaying hearing some form of answer. But I feel like what your high self is saying is that the movement here is what's needed, because even if for whatever reason this isn't exactly the answer we want to hear, it's like it will free us, and we will then end up going where we need to go, instead of just sort of sitting in the deserted island, like not doing anything here, or at least we think we're doing something, but all we're doing is looking in the same direction. I don't know whose message this is going to make sense, but I feel like there's a desire to be free from something. Like you really want to be free. I think you want movement. You want to be free and liberated. I think you just feel like you can't, but that's not true. And we're really not having this awareness because we're shutting it out, subconsciously doing something here and not aware that we're the ones doing it. So I know I repeated myself. We'll look at this feather shortly, but let's take a look at then guidance here from your high self. What is it then that pile 2 needs to know? And to let go with the groundhog spirit, 31, or the number 4. So 4 talks about structure, foundations, stability. 4 is Emperor energy, Aries energy. So I'm feeling a 4 pentacle type energy from this. Okay, we have a circumstance right now that isn't really ideal, and we know it's not ideal. We're being called to move on from that. It's outstayed its welcome. It's a holy boat we can no longer go explore in. There's a new ship on the horizon. We're not getting on the ship because we keep looking at the old ship, hoping that this ship will somehow patch itself up, will somehow be seaworthy. If we look at it long enough, this ship will be seaworthy. And your high self is saying, no, this ship is done. You have a ship that's absolutely wonderful, but you're not seeing the beauty in that ship or the utility of that ship, and that ship is going to serve a purpose of the actual thing. That's why you need this ship in the first place, to move across these seas and explore and be free. Okay, because I feel, again, you want it to be free. You want it to explore. There's something you want to be able to do. And so, in order for you to do this, you would need a ship. Agreed. But your high self is saying you keep looking at that same one that's not seaworthy, crossing your fingers and your toes, but you know damn well that this ship is outstayed its welcome, or is no longer the thing. But we might have been very comfortable with that ship. We don't want to get on the new one. But the new one's there, and the new one is more than capable of getting you and doing this thing, because maybe we feel very emotionally attached to this ship. But emotional attachment has nothing to do with getting us where we need to go and the utility of the ship. It's just an emotional attachment to something that's time to let go. So your high self is saying time to let go and to become honest with something here. And the honest truth is, I don't think you want to accept or acknowledge that this ship is no longer going to be seaworthy and is not fixable. There is no materials here that will put this ship back together. And I think your high self really wants you to see the value in this new ship. But I think you're so attached to the story or the understanding of this one or the experience of the past, because it's emotions, that this new ship you're seeing in, I don't even think you're seeing it proper. That's what I meant by you're not looking in the right direction. You're not even seeing the power and the significance of this new ship. But you won't be able to experience it or see it because of your mindset and your emotional attachment to the old ship. You know? So Hawk Spirit, let your spirit be your guide, 32, or the number 5. So 5 is all about change, rebuild. So we might not like change here, but spirit is wanting to guide you. Your high self is wanting to guide you. And there's a need with this Hawk Spirit to rise above your situation, to see it from a greater perspective, because we're only looking in one area, the emotional parts. We're not seeing it from a higher state of consciousness, which is really asking ourselves, what do I want? I think you wanted the movement, you wanted the freedom. You don't want just an old boat that's now fixed. I mean, you're telling yourself that that's the thing that you're wanting, but really the outcome of the thing, which is the movement and the freedom, which could be attained with this new ship. So that's a higher level of perception. Okay. And the mouse spirit, tend to the small things, with the number 40. So 4 coming out again. Okay. So like I said, 4 is all about planning. 4 is all about stability. And I feel like we have to be the ones, okay, with this emperor. Like, I feel like we have to be the ones to take the initiative here, to like I feel like we're stuck. And as long as we're stuck, this ship that's ready to get you on board, no matter how ready it is, no matter how efficient that ship is, it's never going to do its justice to you unless you get on the ship. And so I feel like this emperor is telling you to take action, to get on the ship, and then trust that spirit's going to take you. Like that's true surrender. Trust where you're going. You're really hanging on to the old ship, which is telling spirit, I don't trust you. And it's also telling the universe, I don't want to explore. I don't want to be free. I don't want movement. But yet logically, you're telling yourself that's what you want, but subconsciously, why do we want to be in an abandoned island with a broken ship? But that's what we're doing. That's an analogy, of course. And so I think this tending to the small things would be, the emperor would now have to look in the right direction and start to peel back and deal with the traveling to the ship, because the forward movement is what's going to get you there, not looking the other way, And so there might be a step-by-step process to get onto the ship. You don't just magically snap your fingers and you're on that ship. And maybe that's what your high self is wanting you to know, is that maybe you're fearing like the journey to get onto the ship. And there is nothing to fear here. There is just, as you take small steps towards this, as long as you're facing the truth, spirit will guide you in the right direction. You will have the results. But the whole goal here is to let go, Like, let go, but don't worry about what's tomorrow, the next brings. It's like, whoa, just in that present moment, you're going to be faced with something. Look at that, and then the next moment, look at that. And slowly you'll move towards where you need to go. But I feel like why we're not letting go is we're looking at this other ship and we have this sort of projection of how the journey might go, or why we're not wanting to take the first initial steps. And then we just convince ourselves that we can stay here still trying to make this seaworthy, Let's take a look at your peacock feather and what it says. So it says peacock. Inherent wisdom is emerging at this time. Watch it and ready yourself for a rebirth. So peacocks are all about self-expression, being seen. Seven Swords is about not being seen, keeping to self. And so this new ship, I think, requires you to be in a new energy that you're not used to. And it might require you to be seen differently or express yourself in a way here maybe you're not used to, because we're used to the old way. But the old way here isn't going to get you where you need to go, which we just talked about. Okay, so I feel like there is a need to trust spirit, be authentic with our expression, allow ourselves to be seen, flow with the wisdom that is being given to you rather than fight it, in order for there to be movement, because you will be guided towards where you want to go here. And then you will see clearly. Okay, you don't have to figure this out internally on your own and go inwards. This is all about being seen and external, and trusting spirit would require you to look the other way, towards the thing that you're avoiding or not wanting to see. So just trust. Okay, so pile number 2, this is your reading. I hope this helped you. I'll see you at the next one. Bye-bye. Hello, gorgeous. Pile number 3, you guys picked the black feather. And we'll take a look at what this is near the end of the reading. But let's pull your tarot. And we'll ask your high self for your immediate right here, right now message that you're needing to hear. And we're using the vice versa tarot for you guys. So it's a double-sided. Okay. And so we could get sort of 4 different ways of the cards coming out, because we have the light, the shadow, and then we have reversals. So let's see. Spirit for pile number 3. Their high self. What is their high self wanting to come through with a message? What do they need to know right here, right now? Please protect me and the viewer as I channel this message for the greatest and highest good of pile number 3. What are they needing to know right here, right now? Pile 3, immediate message. What are they needing to know right here, right now? Okay. So we have 4 pentacles. We have the 3 of cups in the shadow. We have the sun and the light, although it is in reverse, but that's okay. And we have the magician, and he's in the light attribute. Okay, so we have Virgo, Gemini, Leo. Let me sit here with this energy and see what your message is from your high self. Okay. So, beautiful people who picked this pile. Your high self is acknowledging a manifestation of something. okay, that I feel is bringing towards you your friend group, your community, your soul tribe, could even be your partner, whoever this energy you're trying to manifest here, your high self is aware of it. Okay. And your higher self is talking about understanding your desire, because I feel there's a desire here that you understand that will create some energy that I feel you want to experience. Okay. And for some of you guys, it might even create a form of stability in your world that you're seeing as something that could be positive for you. But I feel like your high self is talking about, in order to manifest this, we're doing something that is blocking our own manifestation that I don't think you realize. And what this is I think this would sound something like, I want to have fun and friends to hang out with, but we never go out and we get asked and we say no, or we just have no desire to entertain anything different. And so we don't experience anything different. And so if you don't want to experience anything different, then this would be perfectly fine. But I feel like it contradicts your desire to connect. And so if you're looking for, let's say, a relationship that provides stability, because this is what you want to manifest, we could be completely not open to dating, not even going out, not hanging out with friends, not putting ourselves in situations where we would be viable. And for some of you guys, this could even be, I want somebody stable, but yet we're going hanging out with kids at the bar. Do you know what I'm saying? So there's a misalignment here with your manifestation. And there's a need to change how you're manifesting, but it kicks back to your practical world of whatever it is that you are doing, because I feel like whatever you are doing is your comfort zone. I'm not used to doing anything but that, This is the bar or the place I hang out at. This is the friend groups that I always hang out with. And it's like, okay, but are you getting the results? Because I feel like we might be getting some results of something, but I feel like that result is just supporting your comfort zone and keeping you stagnant. And your high self is talking about so much joy that could come to you. So you're either in a comfort zone of stagnation, and for some of you guys, like the beginning part that I was talking about, like you wanted a manifestation that you're aware of, like I'm going to word that differently because I don't know that you guys might have clicked away. I feel like inside of yourself, your high self is saying there is something pulling to connect you to something greater that pulls you out of your stagnancy and comfort zone, that is more joyful, that is aligned with something you yourself, inside yourself, would agree with spirit, that is a blessing, joyful, happy, and providing you with abundance and blessings. You might not be actively seeking that and calling it, I'm actively manifesting that, because I think if you were actively manifesting it, I don't think you would be doing what you're doing, but you might not even be giving it two thoughts. And so I feel like there is a doing what you do. For some of you guys, 3 cups in reverse isn't necessarily great, because this could be like keeping ourselves really distracted, like I just go out and I hang out at the bar, or I just drink, and I don't know, something about stagnancy, something about their comfort zone. And we could be telling ourselves like, this is enough. Meanwhile, we're blocking happiness here and a manifestation and creating something. And that would be more aligned with our authenticity, because whatever this is, I don't think it's authentically us. I think it's covering up and securing ourselves to a version of us that might feel more safe, that might have been a coping mechanism of sorts at one point in time, that might feel like us only because we've been involved in this, but it really isn't us. Our authentic self desires to be exploring happiness here. Our inner child wants to engage, wants to have fun, okay? But we have to allow it. And so I think we're our worst enemy here by continuously doing what we do, staying in the environment that we do, distracted as we do, and blocking out anything that would be a little bit different, but bring in this joy and this happiness. So your high self is telling you like there's something you could definitely manifest. This is the most positive card in the tarot, the Sun. Source energy. It's a creation of something here. And I feel it'll bring you absolute happiness and bliss. Also, this is the card of being conscious and enlightened. And I feel like we're asleep. Okay, and so your high self is telling you you're not present with what's actually in front of you. And so the decisions you're making are most likely knee-jerk reactions based on what you're used to. And you're getting some form of a result here. And I don't know necessarily that you know whether this feels good or bad or indifferent, because this is all you sort of know here. And Spirit is saying there's a world out here, like, look at this energy. You know, summertime, this is like darkness here, and it was in reverse. I feel like there might be a depression. There might be a substance abuse. There might be a seclusion. There might be feeling isolated, not having the right people around us, feeling, I don't know, you know, and this could be an exhausting energy of Four Pentacles, even though it's the comfort zone. Sometimes it's like we are hanging on at all costs here and upkeeping something here that could be very exhausting. And so your high self is really talking about you have this ability to manifest different things in your world. And right now you're manifesting what you're experiencing. And if you are okay with what you're manifesting and experiencing, your high self is saying it's because you haven't experienced greater joy and abundance here. And your high self wants you to experience this and is telling you you can. And if you don't like where you're at here, okay, but you're not really sure, your high self is saying you are the one that's getting in the way of manifesting this, because we're choosing to hang on to the same patterns and ways of distractions and the comfort zone. The thing that we generally do here for whatever reason is creating the block. Okay, so let's take a look then. What does the high self want to communicate in way of advice here? Spirit for pile number 3. And what is their high self wanting to communicate? Guidance. Okay. Flamingo Spirit, embrace the in-between. 26. Or the number 8. So 8 is all about, it's the strength card in the tarot, because this is about having the courage to face sometimes even our fear. But it's also, 8 is about movement and change and attainment. I think we're clinging on to something, trying to attain, rather than allowing movement and flow to attain. And so we might be settling, thinking this is all we deserve. Meanwhile, it's like your high self is saying, no, like there's something greater here, but you'll only attain it when you move, when you allow there to be flow, when you have the courage. And you might not want to go through this in-between transition from the old way to the new way. But I think this is a bigger fear, because with the strength, it's like you have that courage to do this. And it's not, I don't feel this is something that's going to be that unpleasant. I feel like it's just the fear of what you haven't gone through here is really preventing you from allowing yourself to change. So there's a need for change. There's a need for flow. Butterfly spirit transformation is beautiful. Yeah, need to change. And look, number 11, 11 sign, symbol, synchronicities, the encouragement to keep going. So 11 is the number 2, and 2 is about balance and choices. So your high self is talking about the choice to allow yourself to come into a full potential here. Butterfly is the final form. And to come to this final form, it requires a transformation of movement, courage, trust, and change. Change is the only constant here. Your transformation will be beautiful. Okay, like maybe you fear being your highest potential. Yeah, like there might be fear of you coming into a high potential here. And so you're playing it small, or playing with the little dogs, or distracting yourself, or like over partying, over drinking, over networking, or isolating and becoming a hermit. But whatever you're doing here is sabotaging yourself from this potential and this growth that your high self is acknowledging you have here, which will actually empower you more and will allow you to have even more joys, because it's coming from your authenticity here, and freedom. Freedom, butterfly, freedom with the horse. Fox spirits, think on your feet, 27, or the number 9. So 9's about fruition, completion, and fulfillment. I think this transformation is going to lead you to fulfillment. Okay, but this thinking on feet is about being in the present moment. If there is a need to make different decisions, allow yourself to move, embrace different decisions that might feel awkward because we're not used to it, but you will be shown with sign, symbol, synchronicities. You'll be guided divinely towards how to navigate through this change, this transformation. Okay, but I feel like this is the only way for you to get to this change and this transformation and this manifestation. And foxes could talk about being, sneaky. So we could be like, because sometimes I get 7 swords from fox energy, and 7 swords energy could be like a sabotage energy. So we could be like trying to trick ourselves into why we need to stay here, or why we're not deserving, or why we need to settle, or why this transformation would be awkward. Meanwhile, it's a story that maybe is untrue. It's just the courage we need to move throughout these changes. So trust your high self, what your high self is talking about here. If this message resonated for you, you do have all the tools to create your reality. But I feel like they're dormant right now because of the mindset or the clinging to the old way. So let's take a look at your feather here, which, like I said, kind of looked like a crow feather, but let's see. Yeah, crow. Universal laws and truths are now being revealed. Use this energy to create your reality. So what did we talk about? Your high self's talking about the reality you're creating is all you're doing. Okay, so if you are, because I feel for some of you guys, you're, again, like I said, if it's, you're not even knowing what you're missing out on, and your high self is saying there's something like phenomenally better here that you're writing off and discounting because of the known. And for some of you guys, you want this and you know what this is, but you're just clinging to this old way. And so this is using your energy to manifest. We can't say we want one thing and do another. If we want one thing, we have to be open to making decisions that align with this thing. Crow is all about communication as well. And so we might have to be very honest with the fox in what we're telling ourselves internally, and then what it is that we're like communicating with our actions. Are they in line with what we want? Are they in line with building this thing? Or our actions and our expression in line with supporting this old world that I feel is very stuck and not fulfilling, and tiring, I feel, even if it is your comfort zone. All right, so pile number 3, this is your message from your high self. I will see you at the next one. Bye-bye. Hello, pile number 4. You guys picked the blank card. Just kidding. My lighting is the worst. You know what? Let me see. I never thought of turning off my lights. There we go. There's your feather. Pile 4, white, beautiful feather. White's all about purity. Very angelic. Let's take a look. What are we looking at? So your high self is coming through. I am reading with the lights off for your group, so you might see some shadow, but let's take a look at your high self. What is this immediate message right here, right now? What are you needing to hear from your high self? Okay, so Spirit, clear and concise message from pile number 4 from their high self. What they're needing to know, needing to hear right here, right now. Spirit, please protect me and the viewer as I channel this message for the greatest and highest good of pile 4. What is this message about? Okay, we'll take a look at this feather shortly. We have the 7 wands. Can you guys see? Yes, 7 wands. And the 6 pentacles in reverse. And the 3 of swords in reverse, clarified by the judgment. So let me sit here with this energy. Okay. Beautiful angels. Your high self is acknowledging a realization that you are having or about to have. Most likely you probably already have. There's been a lot of healing done, I think, for a lot of you guys, heartache in regards to a relationship, okay? But doesn't have to be the case, because 3 swords could just be something didn't work out, you know, and it is connected to swords, and swords are all about thought and action, but it could really be something falling apart or feeling separated, or yeah, there's pain here that we experience in a situation. And so I feel like your high self is talking about an understanding of balance, equal reciprocity in any given situation. And I think your understanding that you're having here is in regards to how much to invest, how much of yourself do you give, and when do you sort of stand your ground, and a balance between, let's say we are fighting for something we believe in, and suddenly, for whatever reason, it's like it's creating more conflict. We might suddenly give in or flip because we want to prevent heartache. We want to prevent conflict. We want to prevent something. Okay, but it's creating an imbalance here because whatever we were fighting for or whatever belief we had is worth fighting for. So said another way, anything that you connect to that speaks to you, that is integral to you, that you feel is going to be something that you want, you're valid of wanting that. And you don't need to fight anyone or anything in order to attain it, because what's for you should flow to you. And also, there shouldn't be a resistance, because what's for you, like I said, should flow to you. But I feel like there is an understanding here of either a situation or a cycle, potentially, of regulating and understanding balance and not compromising our own wants or our own beliefs or what it is we would like to receive from the universe here, because of we're avoiding potentially hurting other people's feelings or hurting our own feelings or things falling through. And so it's like settling or making do with situations that aren't in line, aren't balanced with us. So your high self is talking about you're worthy of situations producing for you in an equal manner. People at your level, situations that can give to you in the same way you can give to situations without having to fight for. And there is also something here about you don't need to have a justification or explain your worthiness of why you want what you're wanting. So this is why it's important. Your high self is saying to really connect to the truth of what you want to receive, what you're willing to invest, and be honest with yourself and commit to that. That's what you can fight for. And it's not even a fight, it's just stand your ground about it. Because if people right now in your energy field aren't in line with that, they will fall away, and you will magnetize and bring towards you that in which is in line with you. And so I feel this is a period of understanding this. And so if we're wafting back and forth between thinking we deserve it, settling, wanting something else, overgiving, fighting or resisting, convincing ourselves, we're kind of creating a manifestation of murkiness here, and people that might be under delivering and us overgiving, and us not achieving or receiving or feeling a balance in whatever we're experiencing, a relationship, a situation. And so there is this understanding you're either coming through or your high self is wanting you to embrace here of you're very valid when we connect with the truth, with all this white. And yeah, and I said authenticity, the white feather is talking about when we're in pain and shadow, okay, because we have a lot of trauma or shadow that hasn't been done shadow work, we start to do things out of fears and projections and emotional pulls and attachments. But once we're conscious and we do shadow work and we're aware of our triggers and pains, and we do shadow work in a way here that transmutes a lot of that noise, we start to see the purest part of us. This is the part that we're going to be fighting for. That's the part that needs a voice, not the shadow part that's like, but I want to be loved, but it's like the unhealthy part that wants to attach, wants to be loved. It's like the pure part is the part we need to connect to first before we know how to invest in what we're able to give and receive. That's what we fight for. So it's deeper than just saying your message is fight for what you want, or again, it's not even a fight. It's like, believe you're worthy of whatever you want. It's going to come to you. It's like, yeah, but if you're full of pain and shadow, your high self is saying what you think you want is just a reactionary shadow ego trying to attach to outcomes. And this person is in balance. They're not giving to me. It's unfair. It's unfair. I keep giving. It's like, yes, well, why? But once we detangle ourselves from hurts, shadows, traumas, reactions, emotional attachments, we see the truth of who we are and what we're deserving of. And this is the part of yourself that is speaking the loudest here, that's saying fight for that, or at least stand your ground about it. Because you might have situations around you that are imbalanced right now, because the world that you were in was one of that the shadow self of you created. People that are taking from you, or people who are not at your balanced level, people who might just not understand the value of equal reciprocity. And so I feel like there's a part of you that is unhappy or experienced disappointment, and your high self is talking about how to get out of disappointment is first to eliminate any imbalances within self first, and then the people who are imbalanced and not in line and not contributing or investing or flowing in a give and receiving flow state will have to fall off and separate ourselves from that energy. And if those people or circumstances come up to our level, then they become balanced, because they either fall away because they can't reach our level, or they have their own awakening here and say, gee, pile number 4, I really want pile number 4 in my life because I don't want to be separate from pile 4. I'm saddened when pile 4, is moved away. And so they want to prevent being detached from pile 4. And so the awakening here and the realization is I have to fight for pile 4 by showing investments and bringing balance where there was imbalance. And there's a wake-up call when pile 4 wakes up. But when pile 4 is on hurt pilot, autopilot, acting from hurt place, reacting and feeling like they're fighting for something great here. Well, what are we fighting for? So high self is asking, what are you fighting for? Is it a defense mechanism that you're using right now that has been scrutinized, that's coming from an authentic place? And with this barbed wire fence, I feel like there is keeping out and shutting out what you actually want. And I know you're not consciously keeping out what you want because I feel there's a desire to receive, but I feel like we're doing the opposite. We're actually keeping out what we want. And we keep investing in that paradigm or that way of being because we're still working through it. And so high self is talking about the consciousness of awakened pile 4 comes into an authenticity and understands the value of balance, the value of giving and receiving in a way here, even at the expense of maybe having to accept some form of heartbreak or let go of something here or heal something here. But I feel like we've already done so much pain we've already had so much pain that I feel like it's really dealing with this pain. This is what it's going to resolve. The heartache we keep experiencing with situations that are imbalanced, with situations that don't manifest, with situations that we can't count on to give to us. We feel like we're fighting or we feel shut out from it or, like we have to keep fighting for more because it's not producing. And we don't really have to. Because again, what's for us, we don't have to fight for it. It just comes to us. Unless, of course, we're going about it in some roundabout, shadowy way. So let's take a look at what your high self is going to give you for guidance. Pile number 4, high self. Can we get some guidance for pile 4? What is it that pile 4 needs to know here, spirits? Pile 4 is high self. Ooh, we had 2 go flying. We have flamingo spirit, 26, embrace the in-between, or the number 8. And we have 24, electric eel spirit, bring your ideas to life. And I'll pull one more. Pile 4's high self. I feel 2 more. Okay. This one's, oh my goodness, look at you guys with so many sliding up the bottom. Okay. Armadillo spirit, set healthy boundaries. Number 3. Yes. Buffalo spirit, the abundant universe will provide. Yes. Turtle spirit, slow and steady wins the race with 62. And 33, horse spirit, freedom is yours. So 33 is a master number. It's reproduction, creativity, humor, Christ consciousness, joy, and it's about harmony, which is really this. Harmony is giving and receiving in a flow state, balanced way with 33. So, and 3s are all about relationships, growth, initial success. I feel we want success in situations that are imbalanced. Okay, we're in a relationship with everyone and everything. It's creating suffering here. So, all about these boundaries. And as you guys know, who have been here, I have a very unique perspective when it comes to boundaries. Okay, because people use boundaries when they're unhealed, and most of us are unhealed and in shadow. Boundaries to keep people out rather than looking at self and dealing with our shadow. The only time we're ever supposed to put a boundary that's healthy is when we have done the shadow work. Otherwise, all of that annoying people, places, things that are creating havoc are there for a reason. So we should learn and understand and have those mirrors, okay, those things that are coming to us so that we can mirror back to us so that we know where we're damaged and where we're shadowed. For not those people and those things, we would not heal. We would just keep shutting people out and saying that's their problem, and project that it's the other person, the other thing, or that situation that's unhealed. Meanwhile, we're walking around a big bag of shadow. So your high self is talking about healthy boundaries. And the only way we can do a healthy boundary is when we take a look at our own shadow. Okay, so I feel like there's the in-between of going from the old self or the old way of imbalance and giving and fighting and that whole thing that's created a lot of pain, and then trusting the universe that by having this acknowledgement, okay, to with this bring your ideas to life, I feel like what you want to manifest could be birthed here, where we find harmony once we understand ourselves so that we're at the point where we can set the healthy boundaries, where people who are imbalanced are not leveling up here, cannot dictate our level of happiness or sadness here. Okay, trust that the universe will provide. Trust that whoever is supposed to be in your world will be magnetized towards you, whether they are currently balanced or not balanced. The universe is saying trust that whoever's supposed to upgrade their energy to be in your world. Okay, because we might feel, well, I don't want to separate with my friend group, or I don't want to leave this relationship. Meanwhile, we're unhappy. Meanwhile, we're boxed out. Meanwhile, things are imbalanced and we're drained. Okay, so I feel like the slow and steady wins the race, meaning trust that if things don't turn around right away, these people or the situation isn't giving right away, trust that in time, as we transition, that world becomes a reality. It takes time sometimes for the manifestations to fully flesh out. Okay. And I know time is not really a thing when it comes to all these different layers of dimensions that are all happening simultaneously. There is no such thing as a timeline. But at the same time, it's like to come into being, it has to be created in the ethers and come into manifestation in the 3D world. So this process, it has to go through all of these dimensions, to be a real pentacle thing for you to touch and feel and experience and see in the practical world. And so this transition might be one where we all of a sudden start to doubt and we start to panic and we start to, feel, I don't know, like the sadness here. And we might start to fall back, and Spirit is saying, no, you're going to bring your idea to life, this balance, this harmony. You're going to manifest from the ethers here in the practical 3D world by creating healthy boundaries once we understand what we really want to fight for and believe in, and trust that the universe will provide this abundance. And it's unwavering here and it's solid. Okay, like solid, like the universe isn't going to forget its laws all of a sudden with your manifestation. It has to provide abundance. It has to provide. Okay, that's the law of the universe. When you shift your energy, you're manifesting. And so whatever you're manifesting right now, I feel is a lack of balance. Now this doesn't mean that you're the one fully to blame if people are in their energy, but this means we allow situations and circumstances that are out of balance become a part of our world without recognizing our own power. Like snapping into awareness of this and saying, whoa, yeah, like, no, this isn't in line with what I want. This isn't in line with the reality of what I want to manifest here and the abundance that I want to bring in. Because I feel a lot of you guys are tired of fighting and resisting and trying to find some form of manifestation here towards you rather than giving. So let's take a look at your white feather and see what it says. White eagle, oh my goodness. The connection to divine guidance is within you. So, divine guidance. Your high self and the divine are one and the same here, okay? You are being guided to peace. You're being guided to purity. You're being guided with a higher level of ascension, a higher level of consciousness, being able to see yourself from a greater perspective once you connect to that purity and that divine within you. Okay, and I think that's the missing piece, is like, if we start to tell ourselves that what we want, we are deserving of it from the projected place, from the shadowy place, we stay in this dreamlike rat race, constantly experiencing imbalances because we still haven't connected to that pure place. And so we're missing the very important part. You have to connect here first to the divine, to your authentic self, and transmute shadowy, hurt parts of self that clings and attaches to what you think you want, what you think people need to give to you, what you believe you deserve based on a trauma or a hurt or an understanding that isn't accurate. Nobody owes you anything. You are whole and complete in your divine light. You are being itself. Okay, so once you connect to that, it's like your expectations become completely different. You pull in complete different people, and your life becomes a whole lot more balanced because you're very present. You're not trying to chase anyone or anything. There is no chasing, resisting, or fighting. It flows very good. Okay, like I said, what's for you doesn't weigh a thing. It flows. There's no resistance. There's no heavy carrying. So that's what your high self wanted you to know. Beautiful pile number 4. This is your reading. I hope this helped you, and I will see you guys at the next one. Bye-bye.